So we're going to go ahead and finish this. We made this in our last video, and we're going to put a fun little thing on the front here. Now, as you know, let me get my glasses on, sorry. As you know, this is about 6 by 6, just a little bit under. It's 5.5 by 5. So the next one we're going to make is 5 by 5. It's going to be just a little bit smaller. So we need an 8.5 inch piece, and we're going to cut it at 5 by 10. And I'm going to have to open this up. Okay, so on the short side, I'm going to go ahead and cut 5 inches. Put that in my little scrap drawer. I have 3 little scrap drawers down there. I keep all kind of goodies in there. And then we're going to cut it by 10. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and score that for books or something. I use a lot of those little things. I keep these for when I make boxes like these. You need things to cover these edges, and this would probably fit right there. I'm a scrounge for paper. I don't mind buying lots of paper. I have gobs of paper, but I also save what I can. Okay, so then we're going to score this in the middle at 5 inches. Okay, and for now I'm going to put this down so that we can talk about some of the other things we're going to do. So if you have this from yesterday, we want it when it opens. Let me get a page. So this is a page, and we're going to pretend that it's in a book, and you can see I've already have the pockets. It's an entire page. My little hand, my big hand, I guess, I have big hands, will go like that. So we want it to be laying like this so that it opens, because we're actually going to fix this so that it sets right on here. And when we open it, it will open up like that. So I'm going to put that away, and that will remind us we want this to be like that. This will be our top. So when we have this page, this is going to get attached right here. And we will attach it with, we'll make a little strip. See, something like this, that's, ooh, that might just actually work really well right there. Nice. Okay, so we'll use that little strip that we just went ahead and scored. I might have to cut it just a little bit shorter, but that's okay. But for now, we're not going to glue it on. I am going to leave that right there for now. But we do want to work with this like this. Okay. So the first thing that we actually want to do is we want to go ahead and decorate these. And I have several papers. Ooh, I like that little dot. What else do I have? Leaves. I'm going to use the dot. Okay, so, and these are our measurements. We'll get to those in just a little bit. Let's go ahead, and the first thing I do is I cut off 2 edges. So, see how mine are printed? They don't print straight. So I actually line them up on my cut board. That's going to cause me problems. So I'm going to actually do this side. So I'm going to line that up and line that up. And this is where I can't line the top edge up with my ruler, because when I do that, you can see I would be cutting into a lot of the color. So I'm going to pull it away from my ruler, and I will line it like that. Yeah, there we go. Looks nice. And then I will do the other wider side. You see how this one's very narrow? This will cause me problems when I go to cut, so I'm going to cut on this line. And again, I will line that up, pull it over so that it lines up on both lines. And I think, yep, there we go. I go very slowly when it's thin like that, just in case it's not going to want to cut. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to measure from this top. I'm going to measure down to the bottom. And I'm going to cut the whole way across because it's going to be long enough for both these pages. So let's go ahead and do that. Ah, that's the doorbell. Oh, that's probably something from Amazon or one of the other craft places I buy things from. Okay, so now, as you can see, this will fit on both of these across. But I do want to go ahead and make a sheet for each side with a little bit of black in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and measure that. And then I'm going to cut that first one. But I'm going to remember it's 4 7/8. So then I'm going to go ahead and move this to 4 7/8. And so they're both going to be about the same size. Yay! Okay, so let's go ahead and put this away for now. And we're going to burnish. And I said I'm doing this entire page with a different color of ink. And you're welcome to use the same ink however you want to do it. That's just fine, whatever you enjoy. Okay, there's one. And when you smudge like this, again, you've seen how we do the corners if you want it to look more antiqued, and you're welcome to do that too. Okay, so mine are smudged. I'm going to check. That fits just about perfect that way. And this one, I think, yeah, needs to be turned that way. Okay, let's go ahead and get our glue. And I'll do one side at a time, and it will flip like this. So let's put our glue on. I am really hoping that my new nozzles come soon because, oh, that might be what the doorbell is about. Because this is getting pretty dry and I would like to soak it. Okay, so you can see I'm going to take off my excess glue that's come out along the sides. And let's do the other side. It's really getting tight in there. I need to clean this nozzle out. I ordered 2 more of these nozzles, and we already talked about that, but the nice thing about that is if you have extras, then you can switch and soak the nozzle that's dried out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take my needle and hopefully I can break up whatever is causing me problems in there. My nozzles aren't supposed to, they were supposed to be here Sunday. And because of the weather in Florida, they really got lost. And so they had to resend them from California this time. And I feel really bad for the people in Florida. They've had a hard time, businesses, all kind of things. Okay, so that's the inside, and it's ready for our next step. So we're going to cut, and I have put that aside. We're going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 3/4 long and 1 inch wide. And I'm going to use black. So let's see if we have a scrap piece of black that we can use. That looks like it will do just fine. So what do we say? 8 and where's my ruler? Yeah, 8 3/4. So let's make it 8 3/4 by 1 inch. Okay, that looks good. So we want to go ahead and score this, and I'm going to pretty much score it on the centimeter side. So I'm going to push this up here, and we're going to do 2 centimeters, which is about 7/8 of an inch. And then we're going to do at the 4-inch mark. And then 4 7/8, actually. Okay, so we want to do that at 3/4. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 3/8. And then again at 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to move this because my scoreboard's not big enough, and I want to do it at 3 7/8. So I'm going to fold all of these and see if they're not going to fit. Okay. So I actually want to score that. Okay, so this did not fit. This one is shorter than this side. And so what I'm doing is I am folding it, and I'm going to score along that cut line. And I will score it. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that where the score is. And we're going to glue those together. Yeah, that looks like it. It doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to have to stop this, and I will be right back. Don't do this yet. Hi, so today we're going to make another little page to put into our book. And let me show you what I've done so far. I have the hinge. We've already made the basic album, and we had a link for that. And then we made 6 pages, and this is basically the Graphic 45 6x6 album. And the first few videos that I did this January you also had links to go ahead and show you how to make this. So I hope you've made this. I hope you have your hinges in there, and I hope you have all of your pages made, which Let me get mine. I have mine. I haven't put them in there because I'm going to decorate them before I put them in. As I get them decorated, then I'll put them in. So this one is almost finished. I just have the front page, second. I have a pocket page. I have a pocket page that's decorated. I'm also going to put some pretty little things in here and maybe a place where you can put some pictures. But then my last page, I've gone ahead and I have put in one of the first fancy pages that we've made. And I went ahead and just put them up in here like this. I kind of like that a lot better. It looks nicer. So then I will go ahead and glue this in to my first hinge. This first hinge. And you want to make sure that you can put your hand through it. You know, like that. I don't think you can see it. Let me put the whole thing. Yeah, like that. And so then I will make sure that I have everything going in the right direction, and I will glue that one on. Now I'm not doing it today. You can go ahead and do this as you get them ready if you want. We've already done the video on how to do that, but I'm just waiting till I get mine decorated. So what I will do is I will basically, my second page, I'm just going to go ahead and decorate. Oh, that one doesn't have a, this one does. I have a pocket, two end pages, and then the hinge where I can put my hand. And that's how you attach these to here. And if you watch that basic album, it shows you exactly how to go through and do everything. But this page, since this page has a heavier extra pretty that we've made, I'm just going to decorate this one just like we did in the basic album. I'm not going to put anything extra on here. This will be my second page and it will get attached here once it's decorated. So then my third page that I'm going to put in there, I am going to decorate with the fancy little heart that we have done in one of our previous videos. And I hope you remember doing this. This was a lot of fun. Remember, if you have little kids' pictures that you can just cut out and put in different places, that's always fun too. So then this one I am not ready to do, but I think I will probably put that on the back of one of these, and I'll probably decorate the back and then glue this so that you can open it the whole way. Then that will be my third page once that's all decorated. Okay, I'm just going to lay it in there. And then my fourth page, again, will just be decorated. I'm not going to put anything fancy because these take up so much space in our album. I don't want to do it to every page. So my fifth page that I'm getting ready to show you how to do now, I'm going to have a fancy, pretty little extra on there. And then my last page will just be a plain page. And you can decorate them, make them big enough so that you can put pictures on them. In order to do this today's project, we're going to need two pieces, and I've picked some scraps, but if you want to use your 8.5 by 11, that's great, because then the sizes you can get all, I think all of them out of that. So the first thing that we want to do is, since our book is 6 by 6, I'm going to cut one 6" by 6". We're working with inches today. I'm going to cut one 6" by 6" square. Oh, not much on the edge of that one. And you can see this is a nicer quality paper. It's not giving me all those little fuzzy, clingy things that get cut with that white paper. I'll be glad to use all of that up and then get some. It's not better. It's the paper that I was using was really excellent, and I don't know if they've changed the quality, but they've changed something. Okay, so while this is on the 6". I'm going to go ahead and I will score it on the 1/2 inch mark. So then I'm going to turn it 1/4 of a turn, and we're going to cut 6 inches this way also. And before I remove it, I'm going to go ahead and score it 1/2 inch. So you can fold these if you like before you cut them. It doesn't really matter. just so you know where you're cutting. So I'm going to cut that little edge off, and I'm going to cut it not quite across. I'm going to give it an angle and then cut another angle that way. And you can see it's not cut completely straight across. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut these little edges. And then I will burnish this. Okay, so the next one that we want to cut is going to be 6 by 5.5. And I don't know that this will, oh, this will make it just fine. So we have the 6, it's already been scored right there. So let's go ahead, and that should be 6 inches this way. Yep. So my score is on my right hand side, so I'm going to turn it 1/4 of a turn, and I'm going to cut at 5.5 inches. So with this one, we only score it once, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish that. And I'm also going to cut off just little pieces, slivers, off of each side. Okay, that looks good. So the last piece that we want to cut, so we have these 2 pieces so far. The last piece that I want to cut is going to be a 5.5 by 5.5. So first of all, I'm going to cut, actually I'm going to cut it this way, the long way, because I might have more left. Okay, and you don't score this. So there's 5.5. I'm going to turn it 1/4 of a turn, and I will cut it 5.5 again. Now, this one gets scored from one corner to the other. So I am going to use my little black mark and get it lined up, and I will score down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a half a circle. Now, if you have a plate that will fit, I don't know if any of these, no, these won't fit. But basically what I do is I have a compass. I think it's out in my other room. I will be right back. Okay, so I have all the tools that I can kind of jerry rig with. If you don't have a compass, this is something that's very handy for a lot of things that we do. This is a Statler. It's just called a compass. It's got some extra pencil leads in there. I'm going to use my compass, but I also have, this is called the Helix Angle and Circle Maker, and mine is a 6 inch. It's 6 inches around. So this would be perfect for what I'm doing here, because actually it won't. Yeah, I want to cut from here to here, so this isn't big enough. But if you have a plate that fits, you're welcome to use that. It might be just a little bit off, but you'd probably have to have a pretty big dinner plate to get that circled. So if you're using a compass, let me show you what you do. We go ahead and put this at the corner, and we measure out to the other corner. So it's pretty wide. And then I'm going to draw a circle, half circle, on those points. And then we're just going to cut that away. I'm going to cut just a little bit on the inside of that, not very far. Okay. And see what I'm saying? You'd have to have a pretty big plate to be able to put across here. But if you can eyeball it, that's great. Some people are really good eyeballing things. Usually I am, but not with something. Circles aren't my forte. To see if something's square, I can do that. Okay, so these are some tools that you might like: your compass, your helix circle, and then I also have some other geometric sizes that I use every once in a while. I don't use these as much, but I use my compass more. Okay, so what we're going to do is, before I go ahead and glue these together, I'm going to choose the paper that I want, especially for this quarter circle. And I think I'm going to use this. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my edges, a couple of my edges off, so that I can start from a pretty good place. And I think that will work. Now you're going to see the difference between this and the black paper. Oh, not so bad. I must have used a better paper for this one. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off this side. So that should be pretty square so far. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to actually lay this on here, and I'm going to get it as close to even as I can. I'm going to go ahead and draw this, and then I'm going to mark where this is. And I'm going to mark that into my half circle, because once I cut that off, I won't be able to see it. So then we're going to cut that out. Ooh, it's a little bit hard to see. And since I have that little mark that I've put there, I'm going to cut this. I'm going to put my little corner, and actually I'm going to put it on my cut line, and I'm going to line up that line. There we go. So now you can check to make sure that those pretty well fit. If they're too big, which this one seems like it's just a little bit too big, I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this semicircle off. Let's make sure that one fits. Oh, that's nice. Not quite perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, there we go. That looks really good, because we're going to glue this. And before I do this one, then I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines so that I can kind of have them the same. Okay, and then I'll cut. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and burnish these with our ink, and I am just using, today I'm just using my vintage photo. I will remember to keep the same ink in the same, for example, this is a page. So I will try to keep vintage ink. I might use a purple on one set of these and a red on another set, maybe a green. So it just kind of gives it a little bit of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish these all down, or smudge these all down real good. I love to sit when my husband and I are watching TV at night and have lots of things cut out and just burnish, 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 burnish. It's really fun. Or smudge, 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 smudge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue these in. Let me put that in my shirt so I don't lose it. Oops. do one side, and then I'll burnish with my bone folder. When I'm doing this, sometimes the glue will come out, and so I take my sharp edge and I just kind of wipe it away. So then let's do the other side. Burnish it down with your bone folder. Oh, there we go. Very nice. That looks good. It's not perfect, but nothing I do is perfect. Except sleep. Well, sleep even. I don't think I do perfectly. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these. This is the next thing that we're going to work with. And what we want to do is we're actually going to have this in the middle, so that when you shut this, it folds up on itself. So I want you to line these up so that on your smaller piece with the one side that is scored, I want that to be coming down towards you. And then the one that has two score lines, I want one to be coming down and then one to be going over to this page. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to glue these two pages together like this. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to line it up on my quilt cut line, and then I'm going to put this on top of it and make sure that I get it pretty square as I can. I'm going to burnish it down. Okay, so before I put this in, because once I put it in, it's going to be a little bit hard to decorate these two pieces, because what you'll have is this, and so it'll be just, I'm going to go ahead and decorate these while we're sitting here talking. And I think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put those aside. Yep, let me put my pin in my glue so that it doesn't dry up. I really love that glue, except it just dries fast. So I've told you about the other one. It's Eileen's tacky glue, and that doesn't dry as fast, but it also has some drawbacks. One of the drawbacks that I don't like about it is that when you use Eileen's, it can leave bumps in your paper, whereas the art glitter glue won't. The art glitter glue is a really nice, it's a little bit more expensive, but you see, I don't use terribly much because of this little nozzle that I put on it. I just put a little bit, you've watched me, I just put a little bit on there and it's good to go. So I'm going to cut this one. And it's going to be a little bit off down here. Yeah, there it goes, that's okay. Not a problem. So we've done this before. What we do is we put it on our paper, and we want to leave a little black around each edge. So I'm going to measure down to my fold, and I want it just on the other side of that fold. Okay, so I'm going to cut that. And you'll see I'm trying to make sure that it is pretty even over here on this line so that I make it square. Okay, so there's one. And I'm going to check again, and I'm doing those this way. Yeah, pretty good. So then I'm going to leave a little bit on this side, and actually if it's easier you could line it up with your fold, which might make it just a little bit easier for you. And then when you get to the edge, you can see your black line, so you can mark just inside that black line. And then I'm going to cut that. Okay, so there's one. It's just a little bit big, so I'm going to cut it just a little bit more. And I am, okay, because I'm just taking off maybe not even a 1/16 of an inch, I'm going to take my knife just about a 1/2 inch up into here, push it down onto my paper, cut until I feel it give from the paper, and then go back up. Because sometimes if you try to cut this small of a piece, you'll just rip it. It won't rip well. So if you start it a little bit above where you're going to start cutting and then go back up, you'll be okay. So let's check this and see how that did. Oh, that looks so much better. Okay, do we have enough for this one? Just about. It's not quite as, it'll be good. So I'm going to cut off my white. I might not cut off as much of my white edge. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push my knife into my paper, go up a little bit, and then back down. And you can see I'm getting a little too close to my edge, so I'm going to take my scissors and kind of complete that. Because actually what we're going to do is we're going to use this. And so I'm going to mark this one. And cut it. Make sure it lines up over there. Looks good. Now I'm going to burnish again. I'm going to do or smudge again. And I'm going to lay in my inker just a little bit on my corner because I want it to look like it's a little bit antiqued. And you can see it gets a little bit darker in that corner. On the edges, I'm just going pretty much straight up and down so that I can get that cut edge, the white part of that cut edge, to not be white. It'll show up so much nicer if that doesn't look pure white. Okay, there's one. Let's do this one. And you can see I'm going just exactly perpendicular. And then as I get to my corner, I start to lay my inker over just a little bit. And you can build this up as much as you want. Keep going back and forth. And you can see how nice that gets. It makes it look like an antique photo. And then back to perpendicular again against just the plane. I might not put as much in this corner. Now, you're welcome to do that. Let me get a scrap paper. You're welcome. When we do it, we basically do it this way so that we can get the edges. But you're welcome to just put as much ink on there as you like by laying this over a little bit. You can actually take your inker and rub it across. It takes a little bit to get everything. But you can see you can put as much or as little ink on these as you like. Okay, to this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these in, and then we can glue in our base, our bottom. Whoops, my little cutting score fell. So I am doing them. Oh, that has a few little cling-ons. There we go. Yep, there's one. And there's one. All right, let's start with this one. Put this in my shirt so I don't lose it, my little needle, my trusty needle. And this is what I was saying about this glue, because I'm using these nice little, I don't even know what they call them, but they make the glue come out thinner than if you just use the bottle itself. And you can get a set with the smaller 2-ounce bottle like this one, and then a bigger 8-ounce refill. Comes with the lid, comes with the nozzle, and then nozzle, that's what it is, these little metal nozzles, which help to not put down so much ink. And with the art glitter, you don't need as much glue as you do with some of the others, which then means that once you are gluing things down, this glue, the warmth of your hand will make the glue spread out, but then when you use your bone folder, it also helps all of that glue to spread out quite nicely. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos where the girls, when they put glue on, they put quite a bit on, and then they'll use a scratch piece of paper to lay it flatter, to just rub across it. You don't have to do that with the art glitter glue. Granted, it's just a little bit more expensive, but it is a really nice glue. It holds for a long, I mean, I haven't had anything come apart in the several years I've been doing paperwork. So it is a much nicer kind of worth. I think I have a bubble in there. Let me get my needle and pokey, pokey, pokey. There we go. I think it'll come out. Yep, there it goes. So I just ordered some replacements of these nozzles because every once in a while it's a good idea to take that nozzle out and soak it in water, warm water, so that any leftover glues that might get stuck in that little tiny thing, it will come out. And I've taken toothpicks when I have this off and kind of rammed it and then rinsed it, rammed it and rinsed it. But so I ordered a couple more of these so that I can actually go ahead and soak them as I'm not using them, and then have like an extra set. Let me go ahead and burnish that down. And it does, it dries out. You have to keep your needle in there so that it won't dry out. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to glue this into here. So I want to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on just one. I'm just going to do one. I'm not going to do this side, I'm going to do this side. And then I'm going to lay this in there as perfectly as I can. Yep, I think I got it. And then I'm going to burnish. Take off any excess glue that came out from under there. Let's flip it. And then let's go ahead and put glue on this side. And this is a little bit trickier to get that circle-y piece. So I'm actually going to put them like this and then push this into that corner. And I will burnish. And then I'm going to fold it and burnish again so that everything is okay. So for now, there we go. That looks good. We probably should have decorated these, but I think we'll be okay. What you can do is, if you have a little piece, this is just something I have, you can put it in there and burnish on it. I forgot to think about that, but that's okay. This we will not decorate because it gets pushed up in there. So for right now, that's all we're going to do today. Tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to add a pretty little piece right here so that you can flip it open. So join me tomorrow. Thank you for coming. I hope you've enjoyed this. And then we will go ahead and start putting things in our book, and we'll start thinking about Valentine's Day. I hope you've enjoyed this. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.